if you do that, instead of just saying, subject 473, through his feces, it's subject 471, you talk about them in terms of their human struggles, accord them the dignity of themselves as actors with understandable goals and drives, what they want out of life. And primarily it's, the things we want out of life: food, sex, companionship, power. You can understand chimp and bonobo behavior in the same lights much more easily. And I think doing so gives you the tools you need to reduce human behavior from the kind of false complexity that we layer onto it with language, and look at it in terms of, oh, well, these humans are looking for companionship, sex, food, power. And I think that's a pretty powerful tool to have in understanding human behavior.
And I just went to the Amazon jungle for a few weeks, and it's a very visceral reminder that a lot of life on Earth is just trying to get laid.
Yeah.
They're all screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a lot of monkeys, and they're just trying to impress each other. Or maybe there's a battle for power, but a lot of the battle for power has to do with them getting laid.
Right. Breeding rights often go with alpha status. And so if you can get a piece of that, then you're going to do okay.
And would like to think that we're somehow fundamentally different, but especially when it comes to primates, we really aren't. We can use fancier poetic language, but maybe some of the underlying drives that motivate us are similar.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And all of that is coming from the brain.
Yeah.
So when did you first start studying the brain as a biological mechanism?
Basically, the moment I got to college, I started looking around for labs that I could do neuroscience work in. I originally approached that from the angle of looking at interactions between the brain and the immune system, which isn't the most obvious place to start. But I had this idea at the time that the contents of your thoughts would have an impact, a direct impact, maybe a powerful one, on non-conscious systems in your body, the systems we think of as, homeostatic, automatic mechanisms, like fighting off a virus, like repairing a wound. And sure enough, there are big crossovers between the two. I mean, it gets to kind of a key point that I think goes under-recognized. One of the things people don't recognize or appreciate about the human brain enough, and that is that it basically controls or has a huge role in almost everything that your body does. Like, you try to name an example of something in your body that isn't directly controlled or massively influenced by the brain, and it's pretty hard. I mean, you might say like bone healing or something, but even those systems, the hypothalamus and pituitary, end up playing a role in coordinating the endocrine system that does have a direct influence on, say, the calcium level in your blood that goes to bone healing. So non-obvious connections between those things implicate the brain as really a potent prime mover in all of health.
One of the things I realized in the other direction too, how most of the systems in the body are integrated with the human brain, like they affect the brain also, like the immune system. I think there's just, people who study Alzheimer's and those kinds of things. It's just surprising how much you can understand of that from the immune system, from the other systems that don't obviously seem to have anything to do with sort of the nervous system. They all play together.
Yeah, you could understand how that would be driven by evolution too, just in some simple examples. If you get sick, if you get a communicable disease, you get the flu, it's pretty advantageous for your immune system to tell your brain, hey, now be antisocial for a few days. Don't go be the life of the party tonight.